Azam scored a test century in the first test between Pakistan and Sri Lanka. But that's not exactly very newsworthy at this point because Babar Azam is scoring runs at a frighteningly consistent pace in international cricket. Another thing that he's been doing on a very consistent basis is breaking and making new records, and that is also something that he ended up doing with this particular knock. Hello everyone, welcome to this particular video, and we today are going to be talking about Babar Azam and why it is probably time that we start talking about a Fab Five in international cricket when it comes to great batsmen, and not just the Fab Four. Now again, as I said, Babar Azam, this man here, has been scoring runs at a very consistent basis and lots of runs too. So obviously, there would be questions asked about, and I've heard this argument before, that maybe the quality of opposition isn't always as great. But the simple fact is, Babar at this point is the #1 ranked batsman in white ball cricket, both in ODIs and T20Is. And the fact is, that doesn't happen just like that unless, of course, you're scoring a lot of runs at international level. And that exactly has been the case. But what is newsworthy, as I mentioned before, is not the fact that he's just been consistently scoring them, but also that he has broken another record. What is that record, you ask? Well, he has now surpassed Virat Kohli's previous record of becoming the fastest Asian batsman to score 10,000 international runs. You heard that right. Babar Azam has reached that milestone in 228 innings. Kohli, who was the previous record holder, reached that in 232 innings. Now, obviously, these two are up there with the best batsmen in their generation, but you also have to look at the kind of names that Babar had to get ahead of in that list beyond just Virat Kohli. There's Sunil Gavaskar, who took 243 innings to get to that milestone. There's Javed Miandad, who took 248 innings to get to the 10,000 run mark in international cricket. And below them is Saurav Ganguly, who took 253 innings to reach that 10,000 run figure. Now, obviously, you can say that Virat and Babar had it a little easier than these three, because remember, the other three batsmen on this list only played 2 formats. So obviously, getting to 10,000 runs would have been just that slight bit tougher. These two, on the other hand, have spent pretty much their entire career playing 3 international formats. But that takes nothing away from the magnitude of the achievement and the fact that Babar actually did it in 4 less innings. Now, where exactly does this put Babar on the all-time list when it comes to batsmen who have reached the 10,000 run mark in international cricket? Well, as it turns out, not that far away from everyone else, because as we can see on this list, Viv Richards still remains the fastest by some margin to get to that figure. And mind you, again, as I said, only playing 2 formats, it still took only 206 innings to get to that. It's absolutely a mark of the kind of greatness that he showed at a time when there was not as much cricket played as there is now. Hashim Amla, 217 innings. Brian Lara, 220 innings. Joe Root, another player who has had the benefit of playing all formats, 222 innings. And Babar Azam is 5th on this list. So again, frighteningly good consistency from the Pakistani captain, that he's managed to make it to the top 5 and would probably be, as things stand, obviously the only Asian in that top 5 list. But it's not just when it comes to this particular record. If we compare, him to other Pakistani batsmen who have breached the 10,000 run figure, well, Babar actually, in that regard, also stands in an absolute class of his own. Why? Because look at that gap. We were talking about the fact that he took 4 innings less than Virat Kohli to get to 10,000 runs. But before him, the fastest to get to the 10,000 run mark was Javed Miandad, who took 248 innings. Again, below that, Saeed Anwar, 255 innings. Mohammad Yusuf thereafter, 261 innings. And after that comes Inzamam-ul Haq with 281 innings. Now, obviously, again, Babar played 3 formats. So there is that bit of a caveat. But still, the fact that he is on top of a list which has probably 4 certified legends of Pakistani cricket says a lot about just how good it is that he's been in the modern era when it comes to shouldering the load of scoring all those runs for his country. Obviously, very, very impressive. And what's also impressive is the fact that he's done a lot of his run scoring, and particularly his big knocks, a lot of them have come under pressure when he was captaining his nation. Now, obviously, this ton was his 25th ton in international cricket, and it made him top a certain list, which again, you look at those names, pretty much with some very big names of Pakistani cricket. He now has the joint most number of centuries as a Pakistan captain, and considering the fact that pretty much everyone else on that list is no longer, playing active cricket, the fact is that this is a result that he's most likely going to be a record, rather, that he will make his own by some distance, considering the fact that he's already level with Inzamam ul Haq with 9 test runs. Below that, Misbah with 8, Imran Khan with 6, Azhar Ali with 5, same for Javed Miaza. Now, the real question here is how long or how many more tons will Babar get while he remains the captain of Pakistan? But if he maintains the kind of form that he has in recent times, as I said, you'd expect him to absolutely make that record his own. But if we're talking, of course, in terms of numbers and comparing to historical greats, the fact is you can see very clearly that he is very much in and out there with the best when it comes to sheer statistics, at least. But the fact is that when we're talking about comparing him even to his contemporaries, Babar is very much up there with the best, because this stat is something that really is frightening. The most number of centuries, if we look at since 2019, Babar Azam has currently got the joint most centuries since that time period. He's got 16 centuries, and the person who he's joined with, well, a certain Joe Root, who, as we know, has also been in something of a purple patch of form in recent times. 13 have been scored by Rohit Sharma at that particular point, and 11 by Johnny Bairstow, again another man who in recent times has been on something of a purple patch, especially in test match cricket. But the simple fact of the matter is 16. Again, that's a very good number, and considering people are all praised for Joe Root and the fact that he's been in such fine form in recent times, the fact is that Babar Azam, statistically at least, is matching the former England skipper, and he's doing so whilst being an all-format captain. That is in itself, quite frankly, mind-boggling and something that deserves a lot of credit. Now, when we're talking about Babar Azam, the batsman, the fact is that more often than not, he's tended to fly a little bit under the radar when it comes to being compared to his contemporaries. Now, obviously, we've lived in an era where the Fab Four of Virat Kohli, Steve Smith, Joe Root and Kane Williamson has very much been a thing. There's always been debates over who's the better batsman in terms of stats, in terms of style, in terms of technique. But my simple question to you guys, which I will close this video with, is it now time to make it not a discussion about the Fab Four, but to have that discussion with the Fab Five, which includes Babar Azam? In my humble opinion, I think so, because he's proved at this point that when it comes to scoring runs at a consistent basis in international cricket, he's really been doing that, and he's flown under the radar. But the fact is, he really shouldn't be flying under the radar, because his consistency has been absolutely amazing. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below if you agree or disagree with me. And let me know if you've been impressed with the kind of form that the Pakistan skipper has been showing. Thank you all so very much for joining us. If you enjoy what it is that we do, please don't forget to like the video, leave us a comment, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Last but not least, tap the bell icon so that you know every single time we go live or posting a new video for your entertainment and information needs. As always, I've been Shane Reyes. I'm very grateful that you joined me, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.